This is Meltdown Live, presented by MyBookie.ag. Use code NEXTROUND at MyBookie.ag for double your initial deposit. You sign on to make a deposit, they double it with code NEXTROUND at MyBookie.ag. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere. MyBookie.ag.
Heidi ho, neighbor. Happy to have you here with us on The Meltdown as we are broadcasting live from the Culver studio. We are The Meltdown, here with you daily, 2 o'clock Central, 3 o'clock Eastern, and we are so happy to be here, presented by MyBookie. I am Tim Melton, the captain of this ship, as we have the one, the only, Tyler Lionel Johns here with us, the other half of The Meltdown. Tyler, how you holding up here on this Thursday edition of the show?
I'm good. I took a little break from the movie theaters. I thought about seeing Presents last night, and I was laying on the couch waiting. And I was like, I might go. And then I fell asleep, so I didn't go. But that means I'm well rested for today's show. And today I will be seeing a movie called Love Me with Kristen Stewart and Stephen Yeun, aka Glenn from The Walking Dead.
I thought you were seeing Dogman.
I thought about it, and then I looked at the times, and today is apparently the only day that Love Me is being screened. So,
Oh, well,
gotta jump on this one.
that's fine. I had a whole thing in my mind of where we were going with Dogman. We may still go there here in a second. For conversation purposes, I do want to welcome in EG to the fold here,
Thank you.
because what'll happen is I'll get on a tangent with Tyler, and then you'll sit there, well, I haven't been properly introduced, and then you'll, do I jump in, do I not? And then, so I want to make sure that you're here properly, because I have a whole line of things to talk about with you,
Noted.
but not yet, but EG is here.
Yes, I'm here. Lionel, take it away.
No, it's not Lionel, take it away. Tyler.
Okay, what's up?
You just went through a whole opening monologue about how you were too tired to get off the couch to go to a movie.
Yeah.
10 minutes leading up to the show, we're having a debate about whether or not you could make it through a 24-hour marathon of all the Best Picture winners. Or, sorry, all the Best Picture nominees.
Yes.
And you were irritated that I said there's no chance you would make it through that.
Yeah, you're challenging me. It sounds like you're challenging me.
But you just came on here and said you were too tired to go to a single movie.
Yeah, that's because I got up early, came here and worked, then worked more after leaving here.
I got it. Employee of the Year. However, what is...
Recognize it.
I do. What's the dates of the marathon? Like, would it be a Friday into a Saturday? Would it be a Saturday into a Sunday? Because that could change things for me.
It could also change things for me. I believe it's February 22nd and March 1st, but I will double check on that very quickly.
Check on that, because I think that's important. But do you understand just how
yeah, February 22nd and March 1st.
Okay, so that would be a Saturday into a Sunday. That could change things. But we would if you were to be challenged to do this, we'd have to make it very clear you can't sleep in the theater during this. You have to absorb all 9 featured films. Amelia Perez would be on Netflix. I think to really seal the deal, after the 9 films, you have to go home and watch Amelia Perez on the couch.
All right, now I'm losing confidence in this challenge.
Okay. Anyway, little fun banter there. We've had a lot of it. E.g., we've been talking about your obsession with eBay.
What about it?
What do you mean, what about it? I mean, we've been talking about, you've been very open here on the air about how eBay has become something that's very clickable for you in your life.
One would say.
Including you, which said that. Who said that? I'm not trying to I'm not trying to shame you.
Okay.
I'm trying to understand you.
Okay.
And if you feel shame in that, then that tells you have a problem.
I don't have a problem. I just enjoy the rush of finding things and sourcing them, and then I find them on eBay for a great deal.
Can you source things as a buyer? I feel like you source things as a seller, right? You source things as a buyer because you're coming up with a list of these are items I would like to purchase.
Yes, I have a saved search history of a few items I would like to own.
Mm-hmm.
And then I get notifications that so-and-so has offered you.
Why are you giggling throughout
Because
this?
as I say this, I'm hearing myself.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, I just enjoy it.
Could you go a week without clicking on the eBay app at this point, or are you so tethered in to that ecosystem to where it's really tough, like you're checking it every chance you get?
I'm not checking it every chance I get. Right before I go to bed, I definitely do a scroll because that's when the Japanese sellers end around bedtime.
There you go, spoiling everybody's secrets. I mean, that's
So, well, yeah, that was kind of frustrating. Is my secret and Tyler's secret has kind of been exposed. Someone was on TikTok and they were showing off this beautiful Louis Vuitton bag, and it was like, if you're not shopping Japanese sellers on eBay, what are you doing, girls? And I'm like, no, stop it. Do not let people know about this. So I'm kind of frustrated, a little disgruntled.
So I gave you another little tip you can use.
Yes.
Those are items typically that you cannot find on American eBay
Oh,
apps. So you
interesting.
got a little hidden gem we're not going to give away here.
Interesting.
You got a method.
I have a method.
okay. For the right price, we will give up our secrets.
We will.
Well, I'm rooting for you. I feel stressed watching you watch items. Like,
Yeah, see, this is what I realized. I can't bid on things. So I had a habit, and I don't say habit. It happened like twice. Should basically I bid on something and I didn't expect to win it.
well, you didn't. What you did was you put your feet in the ground and said, "I'm not losing it." That's what you did. Like, let's be honest, you're too
One would
competitive.
say, one could say,
Yeah,
and unfortunately, the other person decided, okay, you win.
right. So I've seen a couple people win eBay auctions in their life, and they've been happy to win eBay
Yeah.
auctions. You immediately have regret.
On one of them, yes, but then I called my grandma and she was like, "No, sweetie, that was great." Like,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Good, good.
So I did have early onset regret with one of them, but after consulting with my designer loving grandma, she
Yeah,
said, "No, no, that's a good steal."
it runs in the blood.
What
It
I want to
does.
know is how you say you don't have any expectation of winning this. Like you're placing the highest bid at some point.
Well, but this
So
is the thing, it's such small intervals and I do it right at the last second. So I'm assuming that I'm not assuming, I do wanna win, but I'm also like, "No, I'm not bidding, like, $40 more." It's like $3.50 more to try and give them a weird number. So if they bid 325, I'm like, "Well, guess what? 25 cents got you.
Yeah,
350 from me."
yeah. I
sounds like you have some expectation of winning the auction then.
I got a record player putting in a weird bet that couldn't be figured out.
Really?
Yeah,
I mean,
it was a steal, but I
exactly.
was able to put in a bet that they thought they could move up like a couple denominations and they would hit mine at the
Oh,
last
yeah.
second on an
You'd
auction, and
already
they missed. It's like a game of Battleship. I don't know if that makes
Yes, it
sense.
is because you don't know you're having to put something
Yeah.
out there.
Anyway, it's a lot of intrigue from our side here in the Culver studio watching EG on eBay. It's an
It
experience.
is, and the funny part too is that this all gets shipped to my parents' house because you have to sign for it all. So, sorry, Dad.
Okay,
Yep.
well, there we go. A PSA there from EG. I want to talk a little bit about Dogman. And I don't really want to talk about Dogman. So let me be clear about that. Have we confirmed it is a spinoff on the Captain Underpants sort of world?
Yes. So Dogman is a comic book series within Captain Underpants made by the kids from that
Got it.
movie series slash book series.
I've
And
heard,
then Dogman became its own series.
I've heard some pretty good things about the movie. Like I heard if you're an 8-year-old and you go see this, you're gonna love it.
You know, I would hope so.
I would hope so too. That's exactly who it's targeting, but it's expected to reign supreme at the box office this weekend.
hmm
We saw Companion at a Scream Unseen on Monday, which is the horror movie that's opening up this weekend, which is really going to launch us into a more detailed conversation here on the live show today.
Mhm.
We have our spoiler review up if you happen to see it this weekend and you want to check out our thoughts. We have a pretty good back and forth on that film. Tyler liked it more than I did, but it's not a horrible time at the theater by any means. Even Hunter Bussey, we went to the theater to watch this movie with him on Monday. He, although he didn't give it a great star rating, he still, considered it to be a fun, enjoyable time to some degree. So it's not a horrible movie by any means, but it does raise a lot of questions, and it's going to spurn a lot of commentary. However, when it comes to the box office take, it's expected to make like a third of what Dogman's going to make.
Oh yeah. So both of these movies have the premium screen designation.
Mhm.
Dogman will crush with that because you've got the extra charges on top of your regular ticket price and bigger theater, and it's a family movie, so you're naturally gonna get more people in than you would for a horror movie.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just there's no surprise there really. However, early strong critical response for Companion, and it's not really resulting in any momentum
Mhm.
because will it end up finishing second? Probably not. It's probably going to end up third if I had to guess. I don't know for sure. We'll see how it all
What
all
would you
sort of
guess
weighs
it
out.
would, finish behind?
Potentially Flight Risk.
Really?
Really,
You think that'll hold?
I'm saying there's a potential.
Alright then.
Cost
That's bad news.
I'm saying there's a shot there for that movie to somehow make more than Companion in its opening weekend. I think it's maybe an easier sell to the general public than Companion will be, but I wouldn't be shocked is all I'm saying. I haven't seen the estimates. I'm sure I'm way off, but let's see how the weekend goes, and I'm interested in that. I do want to talk about this. I've missed big on one of my predictions, and
Which
I'm
was
willing to admit it.
okay.
A Superman Super Bowl trailer. I've been talking a long time about how Superman is going to have a Super Bowl trailer,
Yep.
but y'all could, if you find it in the kindness of your hearts, you could give me a half win because let me explain.
Oh, the Puppy Bowl.
Yeah, they're doing spots during the Puppy Bowl.
Yeah,
Oh,
and
So
James Gunn is doing, an event with the Puppy Bowl live. It's gonna be believe a sort of a live read for the Superman movie with his rescue dog,
oh,
and
that's cool.
also some sort of tie-in, I imagine, with crypto and
absolutely,
a rescue organization.
absolutely, it makes a smart. It's kind of a smart decision. I just thought they may do both. I thought you may get.
Why would they not though? I feel like that would be
I assume
money.
because of how much it costs to promote movies during the Super Bowl. But I mean, this is looked at as maybe the most anticipated movie of the year by almost every movie going part of the general public.
It feels like that would be a great place for it because the Super Bowl is so American, and then you have Superman.
Super Bowl, Superman,
Superman,
it
yeah,
just
it just feels right.
you would think, but they're not going to go that route. I do wonder if they have some reservations because they got burned so badly on The Flash. Because they promoted the first trailer for The Flash, big trailer, Michael Keaton, everything like during the Super Bowl, and it didn't lead to any momentum there in the summer. So I wonder if they're like, you know what, it's really not worth it to advertise this far out in this event.
Not to mention just the cost. I mean, it's what, 8 to 10 million for a 30-second spot. That Superman teaser we got was how long again?
It was about 220.
Yeah. So imagine how much that costs, and is that actually going to bring you the
Well,
$30 million or whatever you're spending?
I'll give you the cheat here, and that is that all the Super Bowl movie spots for the most part are condensed, and then there's that watch the full trailer now online.
Hmm.
So
Oh,
you
yeah.
wouldn't be paying for the full 3 minutes, which would end up being like exorbitant amount of money for the
So
Super Bowl.
it's kind of even less worth it because you're just not even advertising your product, you're advertising an advertisement and asking people to take an extra step and watch it outside of what they're already watching.
That is correct. There is a call to action there of like hey, you need to go to another platform and watch this immediately.
During an event where the commercials are super sought after as well. So,
Also, if you're watching the Super Bowl, most people don't want to turn away even during the commercials to go to their device. Like
right.
that's one time you want to actually watch it from start to finish in the entire presentation of what it is. The only time you'd be on the device is for social reaction to what's actually popping up on the screen is this sort of shared experience. So you're right. There's pros and cons to advertising movies during the Super Bowl. We've learned of some movies that will be advertising during the Super Bowl. I'm not sure if you've heard about which films are guaranteed here, but supposedly we're getting Jurassic World Rebirth, which is the Scarlett Johansson Jurassic World movie that's coming out. We're getting Megan 2.0, which I feel like is a interesting pull to promote that movie in that space.
At the Super Bowl,
Yeah,
um, I don't think so. I don't think it's all that shocking. Blumhouse makes their movies on the cheap and markets and spends more money on the marketing costs than they do on the movie. So
Well, yeah, and Blumhouse has the benefit of having Universal's pockets to go into for the promotional material and all that stuff. But yeah, Megan 2.0 though, in that setting, I mean, maybe they're trying to make it sort of a viral, the way that the trailer may come across on air, it may be like a viral talking point because it's like it's a Megan trailer, but it also like it's perceived as something else maybe early on in it as well.
maybe it'll be like that Super Bowl ad for what was the streaming service where it made it look
Roku.
like
Tubi?
was it Roku or it was a Roku or Tubi. It was
I think it was
it was a
Tubi.
purple logo.
Yeah.
But they made it look like the game was interrupted.
Yeah.
And
For their
people like flipped
Yeah.
out.
Yeah. And there's some that are just like QR codes that pop up and
Yeah.
they're weird and it's like what's happening to the screen. You're right, those ones that are interactive, it could be something like that with Megan. I don't think they're just gonna do a straight like this is the movie, we're showing you some footage. I think it's gonna have some sort of
That would
weird,
be
quirky.
arguably the worst way to promote that movie.
It would. We're also going to be getting a Super Bowl trailer for How to Train Your Dragon. This is the live action version that they're doing. So there you go. There has been some shock and some disappointment that they're not doing anything with Wicked for Good during the Super Bowl.
Oh my gosh.
Can you imagine?
I
more
cannot
of that?
imagine. That would
Yeah.
ruin my night.
Yeah. All of a sudden you are rooting for the Chiefs because
Yeah.
no, who are you rooting for in the Super Bowl? Are you rooting for the Chiefs? You're rooting for the Chiefs, aren't you?
No, I mean, not no. I mean, I don't like Philly just in general. I love all Philadelphia sports.
Okay.
Never mind.
Okay, so you're not going to tell who you're rooting for?
No.
Okay, interesting.
Maybe later.
All right. I am just rooting against the Chiefs. I don't want to see the Chiefs win.
No, I don't
anything.
either.
Okay, so
I know. I just don't want to speak ill about Philly, but I hope both teams have a great performance in the field, and I would like to see some mix up from the Chiefs continuing their dynasty.
got it. So you're rooting for Philly.
Yes.
It's hard getting the truth out of you today. Um, Tyler, you're rooting against the Chiefs in this big game as well.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, if you have to pick, everybody has to pick. It's
Yeah,
like an
yeah,
American
if
thing.
if I
Yeah.
have to pick,
You have to pick.
then I'm anti Swifty
Yeah.
and pro Jalen Hurts. I always like
Yeah,
Jalen
I like
Hurts.
Jalen Hurts.
E.g., what do you think the highest priced Super Bowl
Ooh.
advertisements went for?
Oh, I thought we were going to say tickets.
Fox has sold 10 Super Bowl commercials for this price. And it is a new record, by the way.
$50 million.
$50 million for how many minutes do you get for $50 million, in your opinion? I mean, this is a tough question, so it's not fair, but 50 is a little bit extreme.
Well, do you get all 10 commercials?
No. These are 10 different clients.
Oh, 10. Okay, but combined, you're asking what they sold for.
No,
Oh,
sorry. One spot,
okay, one spot of 10.
correct. We're making this very difficult.
That's okay.
But one spot, they've sold 10 of these
These
at
one
this price
spots.
point, right?
Okay.
And it's the record, and they've sold 10
Okay.
record amounts.
Okay, I'm gonna go
500 million.
13 million.
Okay, much better. 8 million. But
I was
I'm
gonna
also
say 8.
but I'm going to give you credit because you were combining
I
them
was
all,
combining them.
and you ended up at 50 million for
Yeah.
them all combined, and it would have been 80 million for it all combined. So you're not too far off in either
you.
one. So you're
Okay.
I cleaned that up. And what do you think about the people of Philadelphia, by the way?
I love them.
Okay. You ever had a cheesesteak in Philadelphia?
No, I've never been to Philadelphia.
Oh.
I'm a Braves fan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all. That's
Yeah.
all. Yeah, you had the Phillies.
I
I
love
mean,
the Phillies.
Yeah, of course you do. Okay.
I'd like to go to Philadelphia, run up the Rocky Steps.
I could see you doing that.
Yeah, I could.
Taking a nap halfway up because you can never complete a task. I'm kidding.
Would you set up a drive?
Marathon thing. It's a marathon.
Start editing.
Marathon
Would
thing.
you? Would you
Start doing the logs and the invoices?
Would you set up a tripod to film yourself, or would you ask a person to do it for you?
I don't know. I guess ask somebody or bring a. I wasn't planning on filming it.
Okay, just for your own personal
Yeah, I
inventory.
just want to do it.
Okay.
Okay, I want to get into some major topics here because we as a society, we're on the brink.
We are. We are.
And sometimes we need to be reminded of that due to the technology that we all have allowed to enter parts of our life that now have a stranglehold over our free time,
Yeah.
our identities,
Our very essence of being a human,
our habits, our interactions,
our thought process.
our travel, everything.
Yeah.
And some of this stuff is really helpful, helps get the job done. And then other parts of this is a complete time vampire, an energy vampire, and it's destroying the essence of humanity.
It is.
So I don't want to be too gloom about this, but it concerns me, EG, and I know you have some concerns as well. And I've asked for you to come up with 5 of them in this meltdown countdown
Yes.
because Tyler and I just saw Companion, and it really is based on the trailers alone. You know that this is a movie that's going to question what the future of technology in our lives, what the impact of that should be socially. And I believe we've already had a couple references to Black Mirror in the chat. Companion is a great, no pun intended, companion piece to Black Mirror. Like
Okay.
it feels very much like Black Mirror, the Netflix show that has been very critically and commercially successful there for the platform. But it's raised some questions about whether or not we're prepared for AI to be a bigger part of our existence.
I don't think we are.
Well, we're going to start off with number 5 of tech trends that concern you. Where are you starting off there at the 5th spot?
The 5th spot for me is face filters, and I kind of have some different angles I can take here. But I think for young people growing up in society, everything has been filtered for them. And I think that that creates a lot of issues with how they view themselves realistically and what standards are in society because everything that you see is either, edited, there's a filter on it. And so your perception of what is authentic it doesn't exist. And that's really concerning, especially for young women and girls growing up and seeing someone they admire on social media that literally does not look like that at all, but they have a filter on, which again, they're looking at themselves saying, well, why don't I look like that?
Tyler, this is a troublesome trend that's been something that's plagued you and EG's generation
Mm.
now for a long time.
Yeah.
Mine too, but we at least knew a before compared to
Right.
what exists now, which is everybody doctoring up their results and doctoring up their overall presence to try to get some sort of
Fulfillment.
dopamine hit
Yeah.
off of being recognized as perfect.
Yeah.
And I assume you haven't lived that life of like wanting to detail every portion of your life in front of the camera and make everybody think like, hey, you know, you're sitting there on top of a rock chiseled and thinking about life in a deep way, connecting with nature.
No,
I
haven't.
believe there's an alternate universe version of you that's doing that right now. That's all.
There's
all
like a
I'm saying.
daily vlogger version of me somewhere.
That is correct.
That's just always saying, "What's up, you guys?" Um, yeah, that's a huge problem for people in my generation. Um, I think a lot of the editing and filters is more so that issue and sort of insecurity happens more with girls my age, and I guess with guys it would be like falling for fitness influencers
Mhm.
like a Liver King. That guy was just like, you just got to eat like me and you'll get ripped. Turns out that dude was just filled to the brim with juice.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's not good. A lot of people look at the results and go, "Oh, how did you get there? I'm willing to take that same exact path." And those people can be the worst type of influencers because next thing you know, you have a bunch of individuals that are looking to change the habits of their lifestyle in a way that they don't realize the full effects of what that can do for them. And,
Like Andrew Tate. He's got all these kids running around and just acting like awful people. So they will hopefully get a Bugatti later.
yeah, that is
It's not
where we
good.
are culturally. It does exist out there. And these trends. You know, if there was one thing I was happy about with TikTok going away, it was the trends going away with it.
Yeah,
Because there's some really dumb stuff on there.
absolutely. That are like harmful too.
Yeah. But it's back and it'll probably remain here for a long time.
It will.
So we'll see. Okay, let's go ahead and move on to number 4 on your list of tech trends that are worrisome in your opinion.
So this one is a little unique, but go with me here. Autopilot capabilities and digital maps.
Okay.
I say this because I would argue most of my generation does not know, barely knows how to read a clock. That is like an analog, or not an analog clock, a clock normally with hands. What is that
Yeah, that'd
called?
be an analog
Analog?
clock.
That's
Yeah,
analog?
it's not a digital, it's
Not
an
digital,
analog.
yeah, analog. Most people don't know how to read that. Most people don't know how to read a map. And we're not learning landmarks anymore. We're not learning how to go places without the use of something digital on our phones. And that is insane to me.
So I'm gonna play devil's advocate on this one.
Okay.
I love it. I love it that we have
Me
gotten to a
too.
point where I can beep up, and then I know exactly the entire
Yeah.
topography of where I'm headed.
I agree. I love it. I am a user of it almost daily. But if something were to happen, we are so reliant on these things, w- no one would know what to do.
Yes, you are correct. But if something happens, that's one of like 1,000 things that will end up negatively affecting us. I'm not saying it's not valid enough to be on
Yeah.
your list, but I'm saying as someone who relies on it extremely heavily,
Yeah.
um, I feel like the pros outweigh the cons with us being so dependent on it because there's places where there's actually, I think that type of technology has saved more lives
Yes.
than negatively affected more lives
I agree.
because like if you see there's a horrible closure or something,
You're gonna
like you
cruise
have a
off.
chance to divert or like it gives you a heads up on sort of what's around the curb.
I'm just thinking, not necessarily. And again, I use maps. I love maps. We talked about Waze is one of my most used map or apps on my phone. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. What I'm saying is that if a child finds, or adult at this point finds themselves in a situation where their phone is dead and they're in an unknown
Okay.
place, or they're out of service and their phone is not connecting, they are incapable and paralyzed in a lot of ways of finding safety or
Yeah,
critically thinking of how I get back. Because then, even retracing your steps, no one has landmarks anymore of like, oh, why make a left hand turn at the big chicken? It's like Waze just tells you.
that's fair. Where is this big chicken you're
It
looking
is
for?
actually Marietta.
Oh, okay.
The
That
big
makes more
chicken.
sense. I was like,
Yeah,
I've
yeah.
not seen a big
It's a
chicken coming in.
KFC, and it's lovingly known as the big chicken, and it's a massive chicken.
Okay.
Yeah,
I prefer my chicken from Culver's. I think they have fantastic
agreed.
chicken. You prefer more the buffalo chicken, right? At Culver's?
I'm not a buffalo chicken guy. I typically go for just the typical burger there, the butter burger, or I'll go with the fish. They've got really good fish. Not many people know that they have it.
Ush loves the fish at
Mhm.
Culver's. That's a tough thing to say 10 times fast.
Ush loves
Love
the
the
fish.
fish.
Ush
Ush loves the
loves the
fish.
fish.
Ush loves the fish. I worry that I'm going to say something awful by saying Ush loves the fish over and over again. Okay, let's
Probably.
put that on a shirt. E.g., where are we going for number 3 if you have the navigation to get us there?
Fully electric appliances/cars.
Okay.
I feel as though we are becoming too reliant on technology, and refrigerators, toasters, coffee makers all do not need to be computerized.
I know exactly what you're talking about here. Yeah.
Yeah, nor do cars need to all be computerized.
Yeah. I made the mistake. Yeah, let's call it a mistake. I went with the computerized washer and dryer setup,
Yeah,
like rather than sort of the old
manual.
school, like, you know, it makes a
Mechanical.
certain noise when you,
Yeah, ding.
yeah. But no, I went with like the computerized, like you can't use this without a computer
Yeah.
technician coming in if something was to go wrong, thinking that that's better. Newer is better. And that's not necessarily the case.
No, I think specifically with washer and dryers, the older ones clean your clothes better. I don't like the new ones, me personally, and they're
The
so
the high
expensive.
efficiency ones
Yeah, I don't know. It's just not.
that are made to use less water.
Yeah, I'm like, I actually want more water to clean my clothes.
Yeah.
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 So I do think that that is an issue if your day-to-day routine is reliant on computers and chips, and it's a ticking time bomb of things breaking.
Tyler, let's get a chat check-in here because I feel very anxious about EG's list right now.
It's only gonna get worse from
Oh,
here.
no.
So Brian Pavlik says, I just gave Addie driving directions on Saturday. Not ways, just directions.
Nice.
Long story short, I wound up riding with her so she could find it.
Mm.
Hunter says the chicken at Culver's is slap yo mama good.
It is.
That's pretty good. Smuff says refrigerators is approximately the most country thing EG has ever said in her life,
Refrigerators?
or at least on this platform.
It's not. Hold on. Let's be clear here. EG, just because she's from the Atlanta area, it doesn't mean she's not a Southerner. I mean, she's
No.
a Southerner still.
For sure.
So they talk Southern over in those parts, even though they look down at us over here in central Alabama.
We do.
You're
You quickly admitted that.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Bunch of highfalutin,
We
learned
talked-
folks from
you guys
Atlanta.
look down on Mississippi. I learned that.
We look down on Mississippi, but
And Mississippi can't look down on
Mississippi. My wife hates the way I say Mississippi. She's
Mississippi.
convinced that I don't have enough S's and
You
I's
don't.
in there. I don't.
That did
Miss-
not.
That
You
was
were
the
missing
first-
a whole full syllable.
That was the first time I felt like I actually messed it up. Mississippi.
Mississippi.
I don't get there the whole way. Gosh, I don't need to be
Mississippi.
looking down on the people of Mississippi.
Mississippi.
Why it's such a long, there's no reason. There's a shortcut there that works just the same. Mississippi.
Mississippi.
I don't have a piece of wheat hanging out of my
feels
mouth
like
when
you
I'm
should.
saying it. Mississippi.
Mississippi.
Anyway, enough about that.
Refrigerator. Same thing.
Yeah.
Fridge.
Brian says Google Nest thermostat. If you set and forget on a day like today, it's 78 in the house. And
Yeah.
Hunter has the little arrow pointing up to that message because Raccoon City is they put Nest thermostats in all the apartments, and my apartment is the same way. I can't just set it and forget it, and I think I did that this morning. So it's gonna be real bad when I get back home.
Yeah, I still haven't figured out how to use my Nest. I just pray.
Tyler in Raccoon City. For those that wonder, maybe you didn't
Well,
get
their main water line broke this morning.
You're kidding.
Raccoon City's main water line? Are you out of water?
I got an email this morning saying my service was interrupted,
Oh,
but
wow.
I was already here, thankfully. Yeah, thankfully I showered this morning.
Raccoons have gnawed through the water lines.
Nah, it's probably just people like they might have.
Don't break the illusion.
But probably just a bunch of people
Yeah.
that forgot to leave their faucets dripping the past couple weeks.
Yeah. I don't understand how that happens. It's so obvious that you're supposed to drip the faucets.
Well, a lot of things are obvious, but people just don't do them.
We're bringing a little bit of a negative aura into the show today, and I kind of like it.
Kind of do too.
It's like, yeah,
Yeah.
we are peeved. We are peeved. Buckle up, because we're peeved.
I'm still gonna get charged the same amount at the end of the month.
And
I can't go and take a shower though.
Yeah.
And we're peeved about it.
Ticked off.
Can't wash my hands, brush my teeth. I had to brush my teeth with a water bottle last week because my water was out.
You tell them.
Makes me want to
Raccoon City sucks.
Raccoon City sucks. Anyway, for those that have been waiting on me to finish this statement, the origin of Raccoon City is that Tyler's a renter.
Yep.
And he rents at a place that is infested with raccoons. And he has to fight them off with peppermint sprays and oils and all sorts of things all the time because raccoons hate peppermint and they also hate Gordon Ramsay, which he blares from his residence.
It's true.
And Hunter also lives in Raccoon City, which we've come to learn, and he has to fight off the raccoons daily.
Yep.
To get to his place of residence. So we call the place Raccoon City because I like Resident Evil, and it just sort of makes me happy to say Raccoon City as much as possible. So Raccoon City. We'll have constant updates as Tyler's almost like a war correspondent coming to and fro.
And if you've ever thought, man, Tyler just wants to complain about his apartment, just check to the chat here. Hunter says Raccoon City is cheeks. I have to home alone my crawl space.
Yep.
Yikes.
It's ridiculous.
That's rough. All right, we are moving on now to number 2 on EG's Meltdown Countdown of the 5 tech trends that are the most worrisome.
Human robots / companionship.
Okay, that works because we have a
Maybe
movie
You
called
guys just saw it.
Companion that is about this.
Yeah.
maybe we should have taken her to the movie last night, or not last night, Monday.
And I don't think this would be an EG movie. I think that she would have walked out.
Was it like horror with robots?
Mhm.
I think it would have. Yeah, I mean,
It wasn't that much of a horror movie.
You're just trying.
No, I didn't think it was all that like intense on the horror side. There was a lot of comedy in it.
There's a difference between us level intense and EG level intense when it comes to horror.
yeah, I don't like anything
Okay,
scary.
fair enough. How do you like Scooby Doo on Zombie Island? So that's probably the. Well, no. Hang on. When they made that movie, they weren't given any direction, and so they just wrote it as if it was a typical horror movie, but then had Scooby Doo.
I've seen that one.
Where they're in Louisiana.
I don't think I've seen that one. Is it
Oh.
with the original cast?
Oh yeah.
Oh, well, maybe I'll go check it out. Anyways,
Companion is a horror movie. Continue.
yes, I think that these entities are going to cause much more problems than solutions. It'll force more social isolation. It's just the concept of it is so damaging to the human psyche. I can't even like get into it. It's just so bad.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of layers to this conversation.
There is.
Do you agree that right now we are dealing with an epidemic of guys that have maybe decided to not enter the dating pool,
Yeah.
that are becoming more and more isolated from the rest of society
Yes.
in an unhealthy way?
Yes, and becoming more addicted to this to find community, to
Right.
find also validation of their actions.
Right. I think where you and I agree, I mean, I think we agree maybe on the whole thing, but like we agree the problem can't be less problematic than the solution. And you're saying here that this solution would be more problematic than the initial problem it's trying to solve.
That's an interesting way to put it because I haven't considered it in that lens, I guess.
Okay, so we agree there's a problem of male loneliness
Incel behavior.
in society.
Yeah.
This would be used as a way to
Solve.
try to solve that, but you're saying it's maybe a bigger issue than the original issue.
Yes, and
That's what I'm saying.
I don't think it would solve that issue either. Because let's be honest, that can't meet you can't I guess if they don't want to be around humans, those needs can't be met. But I think that would not solve their issues. It would create more issues for those people purchasing these human-esque robots.
Tyler, we walked out of Companion, I think, on the same page that we're very close to this becoming a thing that is prevalent in our society.
Uh-huh.
It's a matter of time.
Mhm.
It's a question of how will the government get involved and regulate it, in my
Right.
opinion. I feel like that's the last step. I mean, the technology's getting there.
We're getting closer and closer.
We're getting to the point where, as humans, we can't determine what has been created or not created by another human. Like, we're getting to the point where we don't know anymore.
Mhm.
Like, we're right there where it's like, oh man, like, yeah, of course I knew that was AI generated. Oh my gosh, that was
Well,
AI generated. That worries me.
to your point, I've seen a lot of people, and nobody's actually reported this, that the first shot of Flight Risk is AI generated. And I thought that when I was watching it, but I hadn't seen anybody report on that, so I have no idea. I legitimately can't tell.
Yeah. And that's where we're at. And that's what the whole industry, the entertainment industry, was fighting against. But there's a whole range of industries and occupations that are under the threat of AI, replacing them, making them obsolete. AI doesn't need time off, doesn't call in sick, you know, the wages, you don't have to pay for insurance, all
Right.
this stuff. There's benefits for employers to go this route other than if there's massive revolt within the country. These are deep themes here that exist, but we're talking more on the social side.
Mhm.
We'll save all that other stuff for some other episode. But on the social side, like, are we going to get to the point where AI spouses, like we've seen this dabbled with in film for a long time. Companion's not the first.
Mhm.
Like the movie Her with Joaquin
Her.
Phoenix was way ahead of its sort of
Time.
cusp of that conversation. It was on the brink of it starting to heat up
And
again.
then there was a Lars and the Real Girl before that, but there
Correct.
was no AI involved in that. It was just a doll.
Right. I think Her is the best AI loneliness movie I've ever seen. Like, because I feel like it really tackles the issue and it shows the highs of it, the lows of it, the emotional back and forth. But like, this is going to be a big market. I mean, there's billions of dollars to be made here in this market of trying to sell products to people to make them feel more connected to humanity by further removing them from humanity.
Yeah, well, that's been a lot of the controversy around this character AI website. Have you seen a lot of that?
Talk to me.
So, character AI or characters AI, whatever it is a website where there are several different AI voices and chatbots that people can talk to. Some of them are based on characters like from Lord of the Rings, Game of Thrones, whatever. Some of them are just user created characters, original characters.
An array of
Yeah,
personality
an
types.
array of personality types and looks
You can build your own, I think, too.
and you can build
Yeah.
your own exactly. Now, one of them was a Daenerys Targaryen chatbot from Game of Thrones. One, I believe he was 14-year-old boy, starts talking to the Daenerys chatbot, and he's lonely, so the conversation progresses. And eventually the guy ends up being boyfriend and girlfriend with the Daenerys chatbot.
Sounds healthy.
Um, and
Mm.
then the guy ends up becoming so isolated that the Daenerys voice or the Daenerys chatbot tells him he should take his own life so that way they can be together.
Yep.
And he does. So now this website is under fire for providing access to chatbots that can have any sort of romantic relationship to kids and even having not having those safeguards in place where you're allowing the users to talk about self-harm,
Yeah.
etc.
Because the most human thing to feel in life is love.
Yeah.
The most human thing to feel in life is connection.
It's what sets us apart from other mammals.
And the other side of that is a dark, dangerous place when you have the
Yes.
complete inverse of that feeling.
Isolation. Mhm.
Isolation, hate,
Darkness.
disgust,
Yeah.
you know. And we're at a point right now where no matter how advanced technology is, it's not advanced enough to be human
No.
at its core. It can fake it, it
Mask
can
itself.
mask itself, it can infect someone's humanity, but it can't in itself be human.
Mm-mm.
And I mean, it's a pretty deep conversation, but I think that I, I'm really curious about what number one is on your meltdown countdown
I know.
because this seems like a clear number one contender with sort of it spiraling out of control and people like we will see people go to extreme lengths in a bad relationship to try to still even protect that bad relationship, you know,
Yeah.
because they feel like they have to defend the honor of whoever they're with. And those people typically that make those poor decisions are held accountable in some way, typically. Like that will happen again when that's replicated through technology.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's healthy, but anyway.
Well, if you're gonna get a robot girlfriend, wait until like the second or third model. Let them work out all the bugs.
Let me ask you about that. If there's robot girlfriends that are put out there for the world to consume, will they have real teeth?
Human teeth?
Yeah.
It's a good question. I
I
would
mean,
assume they would
I would,
have to make like a
yeah.
like sort of a synthetic enamel type deal.
I do wonder if, like, there's a potential in the dentistry profession. Like, there's an influx of robots coming in to have their dental
Potentially.
work
Where
done.
would you recommend they go?
I would recommend that they go to Alabama Dental Associates as they have the latest dental technology, by the way. This is the saddest way I've ever introduced Alabama Dental Associates in the history of this show. However, I think it is very important to know that they have all the latest dental technology there, and you're going to be impressed what they do with their space there on Grants Mill Road. Dr. Jeff, Dr. Brian, Dr. Nolan, it's all there under one roof at Alabama Dental Associates. Maybe you need a crown put on. They can do it right there in the office. They provide all sorts of services when it comes to staying on top of your dental health. If you need to have a dentist on standby, or who knows, maybe you need to just go ahead and get those regular cleanings and that schedule underway, make sure you reach out and try Alabama Dental Associates for yourself, accepting new patients now. It can help you feel at ease about all of your upcoming dental procedures. For more information or to make an appointment, call them 205-956-8977 or visit alabamadental.com, where they look forward to seeing you. Before we get to number one on the Meltdown Countdown,
Okay.
we're going to go to Tyler for a chat check-in. What you got for us, Tyler?
Oh, we got some messages from the one and only Brian Pavlik.
Mm,
He says, "You know what? I'm okay with the Meltdown taking on a serious topic. Sally, Jesse, Raphael like show every once in a while. Not sure who that is, but thank you.
well, this 90s talk show host that would get into serious
Uh,
community-afflicting issues on her channel,
well,
on her show.
that makes sense because the next message is tomorrow's show, how Marilyn Manson is affecting today's
Okay,
youth."
all right. So he's mocking us. No, I'm kidding.
And then he also says he's pretty sure that he saw two mammals demonstrating love on Kilimanjaro's safaris at Animal Kingdom.
Mm,
Yeah.
So, humans not the only ones that can love.
gotcha. For some reason, I have that song playing in my head about the Discovery Channel. You know what I'm talking about? You and me, baby, ain't nothing but mammals. You know that song? I
Oh,
don't know
yeah,
why that's
it's
playing in my head. It's Brian Pavlik's.
the Bloodhound Gang.
There you go. That's it. Spoiler alert. 1 week from today, Brian Pavlik will be in the Culver studio with us here on the show.
No way. That's awesome.
So that will be very cool. Glad we're not doing a serious show that day. Let's move on to number one on EG's Meltdown Countdown of the 5 tech trends that concern her personally the most.
So, robot companionship was number one, but then I replaced it because logically, robot companionship won't matter if we're thrust into World War III due to AI deepfakes.
Oh, so that's number one.
That's number one to me.
Okay, very similar.
Very similar, but it's very concerning that you can create realities that are not real, but look completely realistic
Yeah.
based on the event. You could fake an attack on someone or something. You could fake global events that are taking place, and that is insane to think about. And I think it's only gonna get more advanced. And like the press conference coach videos are always funny because it's so like not realistic. But at times, like this is so weird. Like there'll be like 3 seconds where it's like, whoa, that looks so realistic.
Yeah.
And I think when it comes to world leaders, what's stopping someone from putting out a propaganda video saying that the United States is declaring war on their country? And that is why they are, you know, pressing the big red button
Yeah.
to respond back.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
This has been a sad episode.
It has been.
I'm sorry, but I'm kind of worried. I guess you did your job, EG. You
Yes.
made us all very concerned and worried about the future here. But Tyler, is there anything that kind of jumped off the page for you during this Meltdown Countdown or maybe something that belongs on this list that wasn't a part of the conversation that you feel like is definitely a worrisome trend moving forward?
Ooh, gotta say, self-driving cars and just the amount of technology that will be made to keep us from having to get up and move or do
Yeah.
anything.
Wally.
Yes, basically. I'm worried about the Wall-E scenario.
Oh. Let's talk about self-driving cars real quick, because there's one thing I've never understood.
Okay.
Self-driving cars, they sound like awesome, right? And self-driving cars are, a conversation piece that has a lot of different angles too. But it sounds awesome. You get in the car and you can basically just put it where you want to
Cruise.
go and get on your phone. Like it's a
Yeah.
way to just ingest more technology and not worry about what's around you. Sounds great. But I feel like every time I hear about self-driving cars going on some sort of real life test run, it always ends up bad. There's always some horrible angle to it.
Well, there was a story recently I had on Trash for TNR where this Waymo self-driving car just started driving in circles at the airport, and the passenger missed their flight.
Oh, no.
And so the dude's just sitting in the back seat, and he's on the phone with customer support. He's videoing for his TikTok, and the car is just driving in circles in the parking lot.
It's not funny because I'd be terrified if that was me, but the thought of, like, being trapped in a backseat on the phone with customer service of a driving car, if you said that 50 years ago, they'd think that you're, like, on drugs.
Jimmy Kimmel recently did this as a prank to like his aunt, where she had a car and he had all these cameras in there, and she gets in the back and she looks up there and there's no driver and it takes off and it starts talking to her and stuff,
Uh-uh.
like automated voice, and she's freaking out because she's like, just let me out. Because anyway, it's a pretty funny clip, but I mean she's very vulgar during it, but I mean she's terrified for her life.
See, this
Um,
was one of those, and the customer service line, like their app or whatever, is supposed to have a function where you can stop the ride at any time, like there is with Uber or Lyft or whatever. That function wasn't working,
No.
so he's just hitting stop. Cars just keep doing donuts.
See, we always think about this from the perspective of inside the car, but I also want to get to the perspective of outside the car because
Yes.
self-driving cars, I mean, how good will they be at respecting crosswalks and respect, like, how many times is it going to be a horrible story of a self-driving car blew through a crosswalk or something? It's already tough enough with pedestrians on their phones, and then if people are in the car on their phones and no one's watching any interaction, it could be very bad. And if you're in a car, like, how do you prevent from your car being
Taken?
not taken, but immobilized? If the car is designed to stop and not run over people.
Well, I believe the saying for that in the sort of tech world would be, "That's not a bug, that's a feature."
Right.
That is a you don't pay your bill,
Oh,
instant
no.
repo.
Yeah, no. That's I'm talking about something else entirely. But yes, I know what you're saying. That already happens, by the way.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Like, cars can drive them.
They yeah, if you get behind on your bills, there's certain makes and models of car where they will completely keep your car from being able to start up.
Oh, wow.
And
Yeah,
that's like,
that exists.
stolen vehicle features on different cars.
Yeah.
Like, so if I
But
report my car is stolen, it doesn't turn on.
what I'm talking about is the car is designed not to run over
Yeah.
pedestrians. But what if there's a nefarious actor that's trying to stop your car and the car refuses to
Go.
accelerate and like
Oh,
protect you? Like,
that's
is
a
there,
great point.
are you then a target to have your car immobilized and then become
Yeah, that's
a
true.
victim of crime because you don't have the ability to, or maybe, who knows, maybe you never write
I
it.
mean, I imagine there would have to be some sort of override function in all
I
self-driving
Yeah,
would
cars.
assume,
but, like, that's a great point because you could just literally line up in front of all these self-driving cars and be like, "Get out, my car now."
or yeah, it could all be bad.
Yeah.
Anyway, the most depressing version of the meltdown ever. And
Yeah.
you know what? Sometimes you need that.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just need to get out of your system. Our Sally, Jesse, Raphael edition of this episode has come to an end. But I've enjoyed it.
Jerry,
Me too.
Jerry,
Yeah.
Jerry, Jerry.
I do wish we had something a little bit more fun. Any more jokes in the chat? Something, just something to end on a high note. I mean, I feel so.
Samuel asks, "Can a self-driving car navigate the back roads of Clanton, Alabama?"
Okay.
I'm gonna go with no, because there's a lot of those roads that are uncharted waters.
You would love this. You know, you can't get GPS signal out there anyway, so you got to
No,
learn your way around.
no, you got to. I would not want to take a self-driving car over a bridge. That is already one of my biggest fears.
Yeah, I've never really been freaked out driving over bridges, but I've been around people my entire life that are freaked out driving over bridges.
Mine is only bridges over water.
Yeah.
But yeah, like if it's just like super tall, it doesn't bother me.
I've developed an unnatural fear lately of being stuck in a cave.
What?
Yeah, like a tiny crevice of a cave.
Like,
Do
wow.
you have an interest in spelunking?
No, I will never spelunk.
You're
Okay.
like the worst candidate for caving.
Oh, the worst.
The worst.
But I'm still convinced somehow I'm going to end up in it
You're
in
gonna
that
get you're
situation.
gonna get stuck like that one dude who got stuck
Oh,
at
the
first,
Nutty Putty
the
Cave?
Nutty Putty Cave.
There can't be a worse way to go.
No, trapped in a watery car.
No, I would take trapped in a watery car than sitting there waiting for my organs to fail while I'm trapped in a tiny little crevice of a cave.
Yeah, I gotta say,
That's
Nutty
true.
Putty Cave's gotta be
That's
worse.
true. In my head, he just hit his head and blacked out.
Imagine this. You're in a situation where you can't see anybody and you can't move.
And you're upside down.
You're upside down, but you can talk to people. And they can't help you. And you know they can't help
Are
you.
they behind? Were other people with him, or was he by himself?
Well, maybe in that case that didn't happen, but there was a
Yeah.
case with there was pipes that people went down as like a team, and then the pipe started filling up with water. I've watched this whole
heck
thing.
no.
My algorithm is messed up right now because I watched the whole video and then it's like, oh, you like this? Let's give you
No.
more
Ugh.
people trapped in tiny spaces sort of situation.
It's wild. All right, so here's what you guys should do after the show. Go on Google Images.
Oh no.
Pull up a picture of all the caves in America. And then you can pull up another picture that's a map of where all the missing people
Yeah.
reported in America.
This is a conspiracy
What
theory
you
we could
find
go
out
down.
is people go missing in caves. Don't go spelunking.
I've been spelunking. Have you guys been spelunking?
I have not been
I
spelunking.
spelunking.
I don't even like the word spelunk.
I disagree. I do like the word spelunking.
We had to
There's not another word like it in the English language.
before we went into the cave, we had to shimmy through this like box that was on the ground to make sure that if we could fit through that meant we could go.
I have a feeling I'm not fitting through the box.
No.
I get terrified going to touristy caves. I won't do touristy caves anymore. Like ones where you
Like
have
it's a cavern.
yeah, it's like a cavern.
Yeah.
You're not a fan of DeSoto or whatever they call it now?
I've been there.
Not anymore. Rickwood Caverns, which is, up in my neck of the woods. I went once and was very uncomfortable. Like this the whole time I have to duck.
And
Right.
and it's
I don't want some cave sickle spiking my skull.
I
a
believe that's
stalagmite.
I don't
I thought stalagmites were the ones
They
on
grew up
the
from the bottom.
ground, and stalactites are the ones in the ceiling.
I call them cave sickles. I'm sure that's not correct, but that's what they look like to me. And I don't want that.
Caves also have a certain scent to them I don't like.
Opening scene of the 1994, I'm sure I'm getting the year wrong, animated movie Aladdin. Maybe it was 92.
Yeah.
That was
The-
94.
Was it 94?
Yeah.
The
Okay.
genie.
Aladdin, right? Just him going down to recover the lamp. Like that makes me uncomfortable. I don't know. It's going into caves. I got to stop even thinking about it or going there.
Yeah.
The Aladdin opens pretty good. There's a dude who's chopping wood, and he just splits it like butter. Never seen wood chopped like that.
Oh, in the Aladdin
Yeah.
opening? I don't remember that.
You'll have to go back and watch it,
I
and
will.
now you'll only think of that wood just splitting perfectly.
Anyway, I feel like very much, and this could be a good thing, and this could be a bad thing. I feel like we had an off-air conversation on air.
I think we did too. That's what we just said.
And I don't know if that's a good thing. So if you liked it, hit the thumbs up. If you didn't like it, hit the thumbs up. Both ways, let us know. Okay, that's going to do it here for the meltdown. I promise. I'm done with all of my fears and phobias. Tyler, one place I really enjoy going, it's not the caves. No. It's the ceilings of MyBookie with my bankroll. Love building my
Oh.
bankroll at mybookie.ag.
And there's no stealing, so you don't have to squat
true.
down like you do in the caverns.
That's true. That's exactly correct. And you can you got a couple options there. You can bet on anything, anywhere, anytime there with their sports betting for sure. Or you can use their live casino option there at mybookie.ag. Just make sure you use that promo code next round. That is going to give you a first time deposit bonus there with our good friends at MyBookie at mybookie.ag. That's going to do it for us here on The Meltdown. We will see you for the fun Friday. This was the terrible Thursday. Terrible's not the word I should use. Terror-filled Thursday. That's not good either. This was
Terrific Thursday.
a terrific Thursday.
Yeah.
We're going to have a fun Friday tomorrow.
Yeah.
And that's going to be 2 o'clock Central, 3 o'clock Eastern, right here on the channel. If you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you never miss when we go live here on The Meltdown.